My name is Dr. Richard P. Meinig, MD. I'm an orthopedic traumatologist. I've been treating bone fractures, particularly articular fractures, for the last 25 years. In the last 25 years, we've seen advances made both in terms of the metallic implants, but perhaps more revolutionary and more important is the use of tricalcium and calcium phosphate substances. These are materials that mimic bone in terms of both the compressive strength as well as other mechanical shear properties. They're frequently referred to as a bone glue. What they're used for is after the articular surface, which is usually depressed from the fracture, we elevate the fracture and then we provisionally hold the fracture reduced either with our tamps or Kirschner wires or the screws. We then backfill beneath that fracture fragment with the new tricalcium phosphate substances. This prevents the collapse of those bone fragments from the void that's created in the initial fracture. Up till now, there's not been a dedicated device for the application of this class of substances. We've developed a cannulated bone tamp, and what this allows is the injection of calcium and tricalcium phosphate through the cannula. You can actually hold the fracture reduced with the surface area of the bone tamp. And while you have that fracture fragment reduced, because of the array of the holes in the cannula, you can get a good even fill of the substance to float and hold that fracture fragment in position. Currently, when you buy any one of these substances, there's not a dedicated instrument for its application. Surgeons are using a variety of needles, cannulas to inject the cement. None of them have been optimized for these substances. They're simply large needles with the bone tamp that's cannulated. You have that broad surface area that allows you to reduce the fracture fragment, and then you get this enhanced fill with the material because of the holes in the cannula. So it's not only just the tip of the cannula, but side ports. And we've demonstrated in the lab and with multiple clinical cases that this really does enhance the filling of the void with the substance. The clinical problem that we see in reducing these fractures and treating them is that we can affect the reduction with a tamp and hold it with K-wires. We remove that tamp, and then we hopefully get a large bore needle back underneath that fragment and then can fill the void. That's a very unpredictable, almost random process. So by using one device, you ensure that you get the fill beneath the fragment. It really requires no new materials or anything like that. It just really is optimizing the application of the bone cement. We know from our laboratory studies that single bore cannula is really not the best way to administer these substances. And so by adding the side ports, you really are getting a more even distribution of the material. We've done a number of cases clinically and we've had no issues at all. It's a very simple product to use. The materials are excellent. This really standardizes the application with an enhanced way of getting the material distributed, and it eliminates the process of doing the reduction and then doing the cement application as a second step. It really combines two steps into one.